Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Let's Talk Politics, where we talk about politics. In this video, I'm going to be doing my 2024 presidential election prediction between the current governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, and the current vice president or current VP, Kamala Harris from California. Former senator, by the way. And before I start the Senate prediction, if you do not watch my last Senate prediction, not my Senate prediction, my last presidential prediction, I did mention I will not be going over likely states. I'll just be going over lean to tilt states. But except for this prediction, because I will be going over two likely states because I do want to talk about them. So let's just get on to the prediction. First, let's start off with Nevada and make our way down to Maine's 2nd congressional district. And first, let's start off with Nevada, like I just mentioned. Nevada, in this scenario where Kamala Harris is going up against Ron DeSantis, I would have a narrow Kamala Harris victory by 0.3%, very small margin. I can see this going either way. But in a best case, even in a best case, Nevada, I just don't see it going to Ron DeSantis. Even in a best case, yeah, I might see it going to Ron DeSantis, but just by a few, not by much. But in this case, I do have it 0.3 for Kamala Harris. I think she will be able to get some of the Biden voters, but she will get some of them, or a lot of them actually. But I don't think she'll appeal to some of those Biden voters in those certain counties. So it will be close. It'll go down to the wire, nail biting, finger biting, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I do have Kamala Harris going out with a victory in Nevada by 0.3%. Very small margin. I know. Now, Arizona. In this scenario, I have Arizona going to Ron DeSantis by 2%, which is a tilt margin. I think in this scenario, Kamala Harris has no chance in Arizona because we all know Ron DeSantis is expected to do well in the southeast states, like in Florida and Georgia and somewhat of Texas. But Arizona is also not a state near there, but it also is in the south. And Kamala Harris also is doing horrible in the southern states because due to the border crisis or border disaster. So that's why I have a 2% victory for Ron DeSantis. I just think she has no chance. So yeah, now moving on to Texas. Texas is one of those states that I have likely that I want to talk about. So Texas, I have it going to Ron DeSantis by 7% likely margin. Likely margin. And I think Ron DeSantis will do a little bit better than Donald Trump in Texas if he is the nominee. I would have Donald Trump winning it by 4%, or 4%. But if Ron DeSantis is the nominee, I would have him winning it by 7%. I just think he will do better than Donald Trump with the suburban voters, because the suburban voters, ever since Donald Trump became the Republican nominee, the suburban voters have been shifting more left. But since if Ron DeSantis is the nominee, I have it. I have some of the suburban vote going back to the right, which Ron DeSantis will do better than Trump just by a little bit in Texas, which I think with the suburban voters. Now in Florida, another state that I want to go over that I think will be likely if Ron DeSantis is the nominee. Florida, I have it going to Ron DeSantis just by 7% if he is the nominee. But otherwise, I won't have it likely if he isn't the nominee because it is his home state. He has a great base. Even Democrats like Ron DeSantis in Florida. Even Democrats, they just like how he's doing, how he's handling the state, and even Democrats, which is a good sign. That's why I have it 7% likely if he is the nominee. Now in Georgia, I have if this is a scenario between Kamala Harris and Ron DeSantis, I have Georgia going to Ron DeSantis by 1.5% tilt margin. He'll barely win the state. Kamala Harris will get the Black African American turnout energized, in my opinion. Having Stacey Abrams on Kamala Harris's side will definitely help in Georgia. It'll go down to the wire, and I can see this going either way, but I just think Ron DeSantis has a little bit of an edge. Kamala Harris will also have a bit of advantage because of the black turnout. But at the end of the day, I think the new voting law in Georgia will make it. The new voting law in Georgia will make a more of a Republican turnout. And in North Carolina, I have Ron DeSantis winning it by exactly 1% tilt margin. It's just like Georgia. I think Kamala Harris has a slight advantage with the Black African American turnout vote, but it's more so in Georgia than North Carolina. But still, both of those states. But I just think she doesn't have enough to carry it out. So it will be close. A lot of these states will be close. And now, one thing that is very surprising that I do want to go over, if you can see right here, New Jersey. I have New Jersey actually likely for Kamala Harris. Just because if she's the nominee. If she wasn't the nominee, I wouldn't have it likely. And if Ron DeSantis wasn't the nominee, I wouldn't have it likely, especially Ron DeSantis, because he is Italian, and a vast majority of people in New Jersey are Italian. And you're probably thinking, doesn't mean you're Italian, and then they're going to vote for you, even though a lot of people are Italian. I just think he won't get a lot of votes. Ron DeSantis won't get a lot of votes in New Jersey just because he's Italian, and I agree with that. He will get some, because a lot of people think they can relate to Ron DeSantis. So I think he can just get 3. Him being Italian, I just think he can get at most 3 percentage more, as if he wasn't Italian. So I think he can win it by 12%, just because he's Italian. But he barely. If he doesn't, if people don't care that he's Italian, I won't be surprised. He will get some vote just because he's Italian. But he won't get a lot. Now in Ohio, Ohio is another likely state. Forgot to fill that in. We're not going to go over Ohio. So now we're going to move on to Wisconsin or Minnesota. Oh yeah, Minnesota. I forgot to fill that in. Minnesota's likely for Kamala Harris. Ignore those states. I'm just going over lean tilt states. Now Wisconsin. In this scenario, I'll have Ron DeSantis barely edging out in Wisconsin just by 0.4%. It will be so close, down to the wire, just like how it was in 2016. But at the end of the day, just because Kamala Harris, she's a weak candidate, and Ron DeSantis will do good up in the Rust Belt states. He wouldn't do that great. Maybe just as good as Trump. But yeah, a little bit better. Now Michigan. I can see this going either way. Actually, I'm just gonna go with Kamala Harris winning it because I just don't know if Ron DeSantis has enough to win Michigan. I can have Kamala Harris winning it by 0.3%. I can see it go either way, but whoever it goes to, it's gonna be extremely close. I just don't know enough about Ron DeSantis if he can carry out Michigan because Trump couldn't even carry Michigan. But like I said, but this is not Trump and Biden. This is Kamala Harris and Ron DeSantis. Kamala Harris is weaker. I just think 0.3% for Kamala Harris is fine. And now Pennsylvania, I can see this going either way. I can see it going to Kamala Harris or Ron DeSantis. I just have this. I just think Joe Biden banning fracking would hurt Kamala Harris as a VP, and I think he can win it by 0.2%. I actually can see this going exactly toss up or barely to Kamala Harris, or I think it can go barely to Ron DeSantis by 0.2%. Yes, that's a really crazy close margin right there. But I just think what Biden has done to that state will hurt Kamala Harris' chances if she does run 2024. And Joe Biden has lost a ton of jobs because of banning fracking. Him banning fracking cost us a ton of jobs, which is actually losing jobs instead of creating jobs, which is what Donald Trump did. I don't want to sound too biased here, but Donald Trump did create jobs while Joe Biden, this is a fact, while Joe Biden actually cost us jobs while banning fracking, and that is a fact. That is not being biased. Him banning fracking cost us and lost us jobs. That is a fact right there, so I'm not being biased. And now New Hampshire, if Joe Biden was the nominee, I would have it likely, but since Kamala Harris is a weaker candidate, she'll still win it, but by 4% this time. And now I forgot to fill in Maine 2nd Congressional District likely margin. We're not going to go over that because it's likely. Now, there you guys go. This is my 2024 presidential election prediction if Kamala Harris was going up against Ron DeSantis. In this case, this is if Joe Biden decides not to run because he is too old. And this case is also if Donald Trump decides not to run because he doesn't want to take, he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to, he doesn't, yeah, just same reason with Joe Biden. They're just too old. But I don't think this scenario will happen. I don't think Ron DeSantis will run, but at the end of the day, I do think Kamala Harris will run in a realistic matchup against Donald Trump. So here's my 2024 election prediction. If Kamala Harris was going up against Ron DeSantis, I would have Ron DeSantis winning 291 electoral votes to Kamala Harris's 247 electoral votes. In my last prediction, if Kamala Harris was versing Donald Trump, I would have the exact same map, 291 electoral votes to 247, but the margins in some states were different. Texas would be lean, and New Jersey would be safe if Donald Trump was versing Kamala Harris. But you can check out my last election prediction. So there you guys go. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and goodbye.